All right, guys. One of the most frequently asked questions I get in Anime Champions is, what are the best runes? So today I'm going to be showing you guys the full rune guide, as well as some tips and tricks so you guys can maximize your runes. All right, if you guys don't know, runes are probably one of the most important parts of the game. They have two separate effects. One, they have a globally applied effect, like so, this one down below, and then they apply a specific effect to each fighter. These things right here, guys, I'll zoom in, are called the substats, and this is the main ability. All right, now you can level up the runes. However, whenever you level up a rune, it only changes the substats. All right, it does not change the main thing down here. Okay, keep that in mind. All right, so first up, there are two types of runes in the game. So the first type of runes are only work on mages. So these are called the ability use runes. So basically, whenever the fighter uses its ability, it will fire off this effect. Now, there's actually a cool little strategy you can do. So I forget what it's called. It's somebody's method, like somebody's strat. I forget what his name is. But basically, the strategy is you have a full warrior team and you have a full mage team, but you try to get mage units with as little charge speed as possible. This right here, oh wait, this is a mage. This effect right here. So you want to get this charge time as low as possible so your ability effects last as long as possible. All right, ideally, they last, these two right here are combined are under 15 seconds. All right, if these both combined are under 15 seconds, then your ability will effectively be on forever, which is a cool little trick. So that's just kind of an aside. Hopefully it didn't confuse you guys there, but that's the first type. And then the second type always happens. All right, now these are I like to call them the warrior type runes. So they actually work on mages as well, but you're going to see this effect lasts forever whether the ability has gone off or not. So you can only equip these on warrior units. I mean, warrior units can only have these equipped on them. Otherwise, this bottom thing will never happen. So keep that in mind. All right. Also, certain runes only work well on warriors, like for a warrior team, and certain runes only work well for mages. So we're going to go over all the runes real quick. So first up, guys, we have Extermination. Let me zoom on in here. So Extermination increases all champions' crit damage by 50%. This works great on warrior teams as well as mage teams. Next up, we got Flurry of Fists. On ability use, so remember, you have to equip this to a mage. It equipped champions gained a 39% attack speed buff. So the thing is, you have to equip it to a mage, and unfortunately, it only works for, it's only good for warriors because attack speed does not help mages. However, it does kind of help godly units. So if you have a godly team, maybe you want to consider this. All right. So I don't really like this rune that much, mainly because of that, unless you're using Jonah strat. I forget what it's called, where you have a full mage team and the warrior team. All right, next up we have King Slayer. So King Slayer on ability use, equipped champions gain a 30% boss damage buff. So you would have to have this equipped to a mage. However, boss damage is great. So some people like to have a separate boss damage team. So I like to equip runes like this on a scaling unit. That way I can switch my scaling units because I have multiple copies, and basically can have a boss killing team and a mob slaying team. All right, next up we have Magic Surge. So on ability use, equipped champions gain a 375% ability damage buff for 15 seconds. So this works great on godly units as well as mages. And if you have a mage team, this is one of the must-have runes. All right. Next up, we have Restoration. Increases all equipped champions charge speed by 28%. Does not stack. That does not stack basically means you don't want to have multiple of the same runes equipped. So you don't want to have two champions with Kingslayer equipped. That's a waste of your time. All right. The reason I have two of these is this is just a spare rune I have on one of my separate teams. So don't worry about it. All right. Next up, we have Restoration is great for mages. However, you can equip it on a warrior unit or a mage. It doesn't matter. Next up, we have Wrath. Increases all equipped champions damage by 20%. This is one of the best runes. It works for mages and warriors. Not a bad rune at all. All right. Next up, we have Assault. So Assault increases all equipped champions punch damage by 135%. This is another pretty good rune. However, it's only good for warrior teams and maybe godly teams. All right, next up we have Devastating Blow. On ability, and this one is permanent, so you can equip it on a warrior. So if you have a warrior team, guys, make sure you have this equipped. This is a good warrior team rune. Next up, we have Devastating Blow. On ability use, equipped champions gain a 75% crit damage buff. So this has to be equipped on a mage or a godly unit. However, it's a very, very good rune because crit damage is one of the best things to have in the game. All right. Next up, we have Divinity. Increases all equipped champions' ability by 250%. This is a must-have if you have a mainly mage team. So I honestly don't understand why I don't have it equipped right now. Actually, I do. I have 2 of them equipped. All right, next up. Oh, wait, next up, before I forget, we have a couple other ones. Yeah, I already went over Anarchy. Acceleration. So Acceleration is a great rune to have on a warrior unit. Increase all equipped champions' attack speed by 26%. This is only good for people with warrior teams, though. All right, and then I have Encouraging Shout over here. On ability use, equipped champions gain a 30% damage buff. This is great. It has to be equipped on a mage. However, it's great for all teams. So if you have a mixed team, this is great. Let me think what else I haven't gone. I think those are all. Oh, wait, no, I have one more that I don't really use a lot. All right, this one is Healing Touch. On ability use, equipped champions gain a 42% charge speed buff for 15 seconds. So if you have a mage team, this is going to be a pretty good one. And then we have Raging Onslaught. On ability use, equipped champions gain a 200% punch damage buff for 15 seconds. Honestly, this is pretty good. However, it is only good on mixed teams, or if you're doing the Jonah strat, which is then it would be really, really good. So I think those are all the runes in the game. Hopefully I didn't miss any. So you guys can kind of get which ones you should have for your team based on it is what it is. So next up, guys, I want to go over like the best substats in the game based on your unit type. So first up, a substat that's always good is I like the boss substat a lot. So most of my units will have a boss damage substat. This one right here. Now, actually, I should probably go over this. So there's 2 substats you can have, the top one and the bottom one. The top one is double the bottom one, if that makes sense. So you can kind of see it here. The top number gets really high, but the bottom number gets a little bit low. So keep that in mind. And you can get like a double boss, you get double damage, etc. So I'll go over which substats are good for which types now. So damage is good for works on mages and warriors. Boss damage is also very good as well. I like boss damage the best. Again, it only affects bosses, but boss damage can effectively double your unit's damage. So take, for example, my Luffy here, 44.5 on mobs. But if we click here, 111A, guys. 111A on bosses for 1 unit. That is absolutely freaking insane. And then, of course, guys, I have my swag mode Kaioken copying it, and he's doing 115. So let's just say it's absolutely ridiculous. 117. Absolutely ridiculous damage if you use the boss damage. So boss damage is one of the best substats of the game. Punch damage works, but only for warriors. Ability damage works, but only for mages, godlies. Charge speed, I don't necessarily recommend it unless you're doing that strategy I talked about earlier on. If you have a mage, maybe you want to use it. Now, there's an OG one. It's called stun damage. I think I got rid of all mine, but that no longer exists. Crit damage is also very good. Good on mages and warriors. Yeah, I think I went over all of them. So most of them are good. Charge speed I usually don't like, but yeah. And then, of course, guys, don't get punch damage on a mage. That's just stupid. And this one right here sucks because sometimes you get one where the substat is chart, like a mage substat, and the other substat's a warrior substat, and then you just gotta cry. And oftentimes it's better to have them different substats. Like double ability isn't that great because it's a multiplicative effect. So like you kind of want them to be different, like maybe 1 ability and 1 crit. That's my advice to you. Or maybe 1 or double boss, though. I will say double boss is often very good. So if you get double boss, I would consider using that one. So I think I went over everything there. So there you go. Now, if you guys want to get runes fast, you got to get this in the shop. I ain't gonna lie. It's not that expensive. You could get it for Robux, but if you do tower mode, you should be able to get it. Actually, it's one of the most expensive passes in the game, but it's worth it. It is 800 Robux, but you can get 60,000 gems pretty easily. That is like, if that's like a part of the tower mode, etc. I don't never have a problem doing gems. However, I do the daily tasks every single day. So that kind of helps out a lot, but definitely get 2x runes. I don't know if 2x runes applies to infinite trials, but I assume it does. So the best way to get runes, guys, are first up the passes. So the passes often have runes in them. Yeah, you see 10Q. So the passes will give you runes, which is very nice. And as well as the season pass will give you runes. So if you're a new player, maybe you want to try that. Also, they kind of nerfed it, but Infinity Trial, which spawns over here, is also a very, very good way to get runes. And then, of course, guys, you have dungeons. Dungeons are also a very amazing way to get runes. So I definitely highly recommend doing the dungeons. I don't think it matters what floor you do, but dungeons, I usually get 1 to 2 cosmic runes at least at the bare minimum for beating it. And now that I have 2x runes, it's absolutely insane. And it's the same for farming rune dust. So if you want to farm a ton of rune dust, do the same thing. Infinity trials are great for rune dust and dungeons as well. And you will have all of these cosmic runes in no time. You guys can kind of see I have more than I can even freaking count. So right now I have to work on like switching the best ones for each of my units, etc. So I will probably do that on future videos. But I think that, and also another thing, scaling units, you can equip a rune on them. However, only the bottom effect will work. All right, only the bottom effect will work, and I'll prove that right here. Look at this, guys. You see that 20% general buff? That is from the rune, and it even applies to this guy over here. 20% general buff, that applies from his rune. So keep that in mind, guys. The substats he will pick up from whatever unit you have linked to him. So keep that in mind. Make sure your scaling units have a thing, and don't level it up because it's worthless. All right, so give your scaling units runes and don't level them up. Awesome. So that's everything you guys need to know about runes in Anime Champions. If you liked the video, make sure you guys drop a like, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. And comment down below any other video ideas you want me to make, or if you guys need help in anything, I'll help you out. And make sure you guys join my Discord server. I am doing a thing where I rank your teams under here, Blam reviews and roast your teams. So make sure you guys go over there if you guys want help on your team and asking like what things you should focus on. All right, I'll probably make it a series if it does well. So just post it. You can post once every 6 hours. So if you don't see your thing in the video, make sure you repost it. And if your team gets better, make sure you repost it as well. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.